every YouTube creator claims you can make thousands in your bedroom with AI.
Right, showing off those flashy screenshots.
Exactly. They promise incredibly easy money, but the reality of what actually works looks completely
And
different.
it's entirely different. The real work is a lot quieter. And frankly, it's a lot more interesting than just spamming generated content.
Welcome to the deep dive. Today we have a very clear mission. We're exploring a fascinating data-backed guide on the 5 Claude AI business models for 2026.
And these aren't just random ideas, They're ranked carefully. They go from the easiest to start all the way to the most uncomfortable.
Which is by design.
Yeah.
Because the harder a process is, the less competition there is.
Absolutely.
You learn by doing the hard things. But before we get into the actual steps, we need some context. We need to understand why 2026 is structurally different than even just a year ago.
Well, it's a massive shift in leverage. Think about just a few years ago. If a small business wanted a custom website, a functional chatbot, an ad campaign, and a brand video, they needed a whole team.
Right, you needed a copywriter, a developer, a designer.
Yeah.
It was incredibly expensive and painfully slow.
Exactly. Now, one person uses a specific AI stack, and it replaces almost all of that friction.
So what does that stack look like?
You have Claude Code, first of all. That handles building your web apps and scripts directly in the terminal. Then you have Claude Design. That creates your landing pages and visual assets.
And then you add MCP into the mix, which really...
Right, and MCP is crucial here. MCP means a bridge connecting AI directly to real business systems.
Things like Slack or a local CRM.
Right, that lets the AI read and write real data. And finally, you use Cursor. That's an AI-powered editor speeding up your daily coding process.
So you have these 4 tools. Together, they replace, what, 60 to 80% of the manual work?
The data absolutely backs this up. The guide highlights a real case study of a 2-person agency. They simply switched their workflow to primarily using Claude Code, and they tripled their output in a single month.
Tripled it, just from switching their toolset.
Yeah. They went from delivering 4 blog posts and 2 client projects a month to consistently shipping 12 blog posts and 5 full client projects.
Whoa! I mean, imagine one person delivering the output of an entire 20-person agency. It's like having a Swiss Army knife where every blade is an expert employee.
That's a great way to look at it.
You're just deciding what to build.
You are the operator. The AI handles the execution layer.
But I have to ask, if the AI is doing all the heavy lifting, what is the human actually getting paid for?
Well, you're getting paid for knowing what to do.
Right.
The AI is brilliant, sure, but it doesn't know a business's overarching goals. It doesn't know their specific bottlenecks or their culture.
So they pay for your strategy and curation, not just the raw output.
Precisely. The strategy is the real product here. Which brings us to the first major opportunity.
Strategy is exactly what most businesses lack right now, which makes AI consulting services the fastest model to launch.
The opportunity here is just massive. Generative AI use in small firms jumped significantly recently. It went from 40% to 58% in 2025.
That sounds like a massive wave of adoption.
It sounds like it on paper. But here's the catch. Only 8% of those businesses reach advanced adoption.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, the vast majority are totally stuck. They're permanently in the exploration phase.
They're just messing around with prompts without any real structure.
Exactly. The owners know this technology exists, They know competitors might be using it, but they have zero framework to apply it.
So that gap in understanding is your entire business model. Let's ground this in reality.
Okay.
If I walk into a 12-person accounting firm, what exactly am I looking for?
You sit down with the owner for 2 hours, and you don't pitch anything. You just take detailed notes on their bottlenecks.
Right.
You learn about their sales process, their marketing, their admin work. You just listen and document the pain points.
I mean, these owners are seeing AI everywhere. They read the headlines constantly. But running a business is hard enough. I still wrestle with feeling overwhelmed by AI updates myself.
Oh, absolutely. We all do.
So I can only imagine how a local accounting firm owner feels when they're just trying to get through tax season.
They're completely stressed. They don't want another tool. They want time back. So you take all those notes about their bottlenecks and you feed them to Claude.
What does that prompt actually look like?
You give Claude the context. You say, this is an accounting firm with 12 employees. Client onboarding takes them 3 full weeks. They manually do Excel invoicing, and they answer the exact same tax questions by email repeatedly.
And then what?
Then you ask Claude for a 10-point ranked list of solutions.
Ranked by time and money saved, I imagine.
Exactly. You want the highest impact fixes first. You ask for the specific tools to use, the estimated setup time, and the weekly hours saved.
And you finish by asking for a 30-day action plan, broken down week by week.
Right, so it's actually digestible. You clean up that output, make it look professional, and present it back to the owner as a clear roadmap.
I'm curious about the economics here. What does this actually look like on an invoice?
You charge between $2,500 and $3,000 for this initial roadmap, and roughly the same for ongoing monthly advising.
But there are some serious warnings here, right? You can't go too technical.
Oh, definitely not. The owner doesn't care about fine-tuning models or context windows. They care about their margins.
And you cannot skip the in-person visit.
No, if you try to do this entirely over Zoom, you'll fail. You have to physically see the sticky notes on their monitors.
Right. The inefficient workflows they'd never think to mention on a call. But I'll push back a bit here. Why would a business pay $3,000 for something Claude spit out in seconds?
Because they're drowning in options.
Yeah.
They don't know what to ask Claude in the first place. You're giving them a clear, vetted path forward.
They aren't buying a prompt. They are buying clarity to stop feeling confused.
That's exactly it. But here's where things get really interesting.
How so?
Well, once you consult a business and give them this roadmap, you almost always uncover a deeper, much uglier issue.
Right. You look under the hood and realize their biggest roadblock isn't a lack of AI. It's that their underlying data is a complete disaster.
Exactly. You can't run advanced AI on garbage data, which naturally evolves your consulting into the second model, broken AI data cleanup.
This is the truly unglamorous work.
It's incredibly boring,
Yeah.
but it's highly lucrative. The guide notes that 62% of small businesses try to use AI for data analysis.
But it's worthless if that data is scattered across 5 different platforms.
Completely worthless. They have outdated customer records in Google Sheets. Half their leads are sitting in MailChimp.
And their financial data is locked in QuickBooks.
Right, and none of these systems talk to each other.
So your job becomes digital plumbing. You have to move everything into one central, clean location.
And this is where Claude Code shines. You use it to write custom migration scripts. Let me share the exact prompt you'd use for this.
Please do.
You open your terminal, you tell Claude, I have 3 messy CSV files: customers, orders, and support tickets.
Yeah.
Then you ask it to write a Python script to clean the duplicates, to normalize the weird date formats, and then to import everything cleanly into PostgreSQL or Supabase.
For context, Supabase is just an open source database platform that's easy to set up, so you're creating a clean, structured foundation.
Yes, and once it's clean, you add that MCP bridge. Now, Claude can actually query their real, up-to-date business data without hallucinating.
Let's talk about the money. The guide says it's $5,000 to $10,000 for simple cleanups,
Right.
but it goes up to $25,000 plus for complex legacy databases.
That's right. The numbers scale very quickly with complexity.
Hold on. $25,000 for a small business.
Yeah.
How do you possibly justify that kind of invoice to a local mom and pop shop just for cleaning up spreadsheets?
Because legacy databases aren't just spreadsheets. They hold decades of unstructured business logic.
Right.
If you break a custom database during a migration, you can literally bankrupt a company.
Wow.
So they aren't paying for the Python script. They're paying for the absolute certainty that their historical data survives the transition intact.
Okay, that makes sense. The risk premium is high. But the pitfall here is underestimating that exact mess. You have to do a paid discovery session first.
Always. Never quote a data job without looking at the raw files first.
But if the data is that fragile and messy, doesn't this require a deep software engineering background?
It definitely used to. But now Claude Code handles the complex logic and syntax.
Yeah.
You just have to be willing to sit there, run the tests, and patiently untangle the knots.
Basic Claude Code is enough. The real skill is just doing the boring work.
That's the secret. Doing the boring work makes you irreplaceable.
This deep dive is brought to you by our partners. They help keep the lights on so we can keep analyzing these trends.
Now let's get back to the frameworks.
So we've consulted the client. Their data is finally clean and centralized. Now they're actually ready to grow and launch campaigns online.
Which naturally flows into the third model, becoming a one-person AI launch agency.
This solves a very common, frustrating problem. You find a great local business, but they have almost zero digital footprint.
Right. No modern website, no brand video, no automated funnels, just nothing.
They need a total overhaul. And the guide unpacks a realistic 5-day sprint to build this out. It's intense, but highly structured.
Yeah, Monday is strictly for the website. You use Claude Design to generate a high-converting landing page. You just feed it the business name and their ideal target customer.
Then Tuesday, you shift gears. You use Claude Design again, but this time for a brand video script and visual assets.
Wednesday gets more technical. Claude Code builds out an automated email funnel, and you set up an MCP-connected chatbot for their website.
Thursday is traffic day. You take those assets and set up targeted Meta and Google ads.
And Friday, you deliver the entire system. You walk the client through their new digital machine.
I want to focus on Wednesday for a second, building the email funnel. The guide uses a yoga studio example. How does AI handle the nuance of a brand's voice?
You have to be very specific in the prompt. You tell Claude, create a 5-email welcome sequence for Breathe Studio, target women ages 25 to 45. Email 1 is a welcome message. Email 2 is a client success story. And here's the key. You specify, keep it a warm, encouraging tone and under 150 words per email.
It's wild how well it mimics tone now. It builds a whole sequence in seconds. And the pricing for this launch package is solid too. A basic setup is $3,500.
Right. But a full stack, including ongoing ad management, is $12,000 plus, and that typically includes a $2,000 a month retainer.
The pitfall here is incredibly dangerous, though. Overpromising on ad results in the first 30 days. You control the technical setup, but you don't control the market.
Exactly. Always set realistic expectations about what ads can actually do early on. It takes time to optimize.
But I'm putting myself in the client's shoes. They usually want an entire agency team for a big launch. Won't they hesitate hiring just one person to do all of this?
Not anymore. I mean, managing 5 different freelancers with 5 different opinions is a total nightmare for a business owner.
Right.
They want one point of contact who just understands the vision and gets it done.
Clients just want results, not the headache of managing 5 different freelancers.
Exactly. You're selling speed and simplicity.
Now, let's say the launch is a huge success. They get a flood of new clients.
Which is great.
It is. But that creates a new problem. Their internal operations usually break under the new pressure.
Oh, they absolutely shatter. The shared spreadsheets and sticky notes that worked for 10 clients completely fail at 50.
Which brings us to the fourth model, building custom internal tools with an AI chat layer.
Yes. You're officially moving them off spreadsheets. You build them a focused, custom web app. But the crucial part is adding that MCP AI chat layer on top.
Let's use the recruitment agency example from the guide. It perfectly illustrates this.
Imagine an agency with 3 recruiters. They're wasting 5 hours every single week just cross-referencing candidates in massive Google Sheets.
It's slow, and human error is rampant. So what exactly do you build to fix it?
You use Claude to build a clean web app database.
Yes.
You deploy it on Supabase, hosting it right on their own domain. And it holds all their candidate data securely.
But a traditional database is still hard for non-technical recruiters to use. The interface is where the actual magic happens.
It is. You build a natural language chat interface on top of that database.
Yeah.
Now, instead of writing complex search queries, a recruiter can just type in plain English.
Right.
They ask, who applied for the marketing manager position this month?
And the tool just reads the database and tells them, no sorting, no searching needed. The pricing for this is a $5,000 upfront build fee.
And importantly, it includes $1,500 a month for ongoing maintenance and server costs.
But why build this from scratch? Why not just set them up on an existing recruitment software platform? There are hundreds of them out there.
Because existing software is almost always bloated. It has 50 features they don't need, and it lacks the one specific workflow they rely on. Building custom means it maps exactly to how their brains already work.
Custom tools fit their exact bottlenecks, and the chat layer makes it totally frictionless.
It becomes a natural extension of their team. The pitfall, of course, is skipping that AI chat layer.
Right. If you skip the chat, you just built them another boring dashboard. The conversational interface is the wow factor that keeps them happily paying that monthly retainer.
It's the stickiest feature you can build. But eventually, as a solo operator, you hit a hard ceiling.
You definitely do. Building all these custom tools is highly profitable. But you're still trading your time for money. When you stop coding, the income stops flowing.
And the ultimate goal of leveraging AI is escaping that trap entirely.
Which brings us to the final evolution, model number 5, productizing your client work.
This is where the math gets really fun. Because every custom project you build for a client has reusable underlying parts.
Let's break down how productization actually works. You take that custom onboarding system you just built for the coaching business.
Yeah, the one using Next.js as the framework. Supabase for the database, and the MCP chat layer.
You clone it, and you meticulously strip out all their specific client data and branding.
Exactly. Then you create a clean REA-DEMA file. You add a simple 10-step setup guide.
And you sell that core architecture as a template to other coaching businesses.
Let's look at the specific data from the guide. If you sell just 50 copies of that template at $497, you make roughly $25,000.
From work you already got paid to do once. That's incredible leverage.
It is. And prices can easily go up to $5,000 if you include a done-for-you customization package with the template.
The pitfall here is super tempting, though. Many developers try to build a digital product before doing any actual client work.
That almost never works. A successful product has to come from solving a painful, real-world problem first. You cannot guess what the market actually needs from your bedroom.
But let me ask you this. Can you really just drop a raw GitHub link online and expect people to pay $500 for it?
Absolutely not. A raw code repository is completely useless to most business owners. They need context. They need to see how it solves their problem.
No, the real product is the video walkthrough and the easy setup instructions.
Exactly. The code is just the foundation. The packaging, the framing, and the clear instructions are what they actually buy.
Let's step back for a second and look at the big picture here.
These 5 models aren't just isolated ideas you pick randomly. They're sequential stepping stones.
They flow directly into each other. It's a life cycle.
Exactly. Models 1 through 4 are designed to get you to your first $10,000 a month.
Right.
Model 5 is how you scale that to $30,000 without adding any more hours to your week.
It's essentially one core business, but it has 5 distinct compounding income layers.
Think about the progression. You consult to learn their pain point. You clean their data to build a solid foundation.
You launch their marketing to drive growth.
You build custom internal tools to manage that growth and retain them as clients. And finally, you productize those tools to scale your own income.
And through all of this, the core tool stack remains incredibly simple. Claude, Supabase, MCP, and Vercel for hosting.
You have to keep the stack small and focused. Do not get distracted by every shiny new AI tool that launches on Twitter every morning.
You also have to remember the timing of this opportunity. General AI usage grew incredibly fast in 2025.
The window to become an AI partner for small businesses is wide open right now. They know they need it, but they don't know how to build it.
Right.
But it won't stay open forever. As these tools become more mainstream and easier to use out of the box, the margins for this kind of setup work will inevitably shrink.
It's about taking action while the gap still exists. Look at your own computer right now. What is the one boring, repetitive task you've done 3 times this week that a 30-second Claude code script could eliminate forever? Start by consulting yourself. Build your own leverage first.
It's been great exploring these frameworks with you. Keep building and keep experimenting.
Until next time, keep diving deep.